a son, a brother, a friend, a mentor, an uncle, a lover of the ocean, and I've been a professional photographer for 17 years, before the invention of the iPhone, Instagram, Snapchat, or the selfie. The title of today's class is I'm Bringing Photos Back. I could not afford the rights to the Justin Timberlake song, but if just Justin Timberlake can bring sexy back, my goal is to bring photos back, or at least try. I've seen a lot of seminars, classes, and meetings in my life, and the classes that speak to your heart are the classes that speak to me. My goal in this class is to tell you my story, why photos are important to me, how my love of photos started in my life, showcase others' stories, and show you why documenting my history is important, and documenting your history is important. This is not a how-to class. This is a why class. I want to see photos back on the walls in photo albums and the selfie to be a thing of the past.
Hey, my name is Andres, and today I'm going to be talking about my 3 favorite pictures. And number 1 is with my mom because she was there at when I passed 6th grade, and that means a lot to me because I love her so much and she's always been there for me, and she's important to me, and she's been there for all my soccer games, so I really love her. And yeah, I'll move on to number 2. This is in Wyoming, and I really like this picture because we're at the ocean, and I have never been to the ocean, and I went with one of my best uncles, and I just really had a lot of fun because as a kid I really never did, but I appreciate him so much, and I really loved the time we had and spent, and I appreciate him so much. And this picture means a lot because it's myself, and this is the very first picture he had taken me, and I was young, smiling, living happy, and it just shows to me like how far I came, how fast like life goes and all that, and it just really means a lot to me. It shows a lot of memories from back then.
Go.
I'm going to take you on a trip today. This will be similar to the adventure Andreas talked about, not a beach in Wyoming. More like time traveling. Are you ready? In my heart, my love of photography came long before I went to school or took my first photo. My love of photos started as a kid, walking my great-grandparents' hallway, seeing photos of my mom growing up, my grandmother when she got married, and photos of when I was little. I've documented a lot of people's lives, people I've barely known and people I've known very well. I have to say though, as much as I love being a photographer, the photos I'm most proud of are not the photos I took as a professional photographer. The photos I'm most proud of are the photos that hang on my wall of my godson growing up, my mom and I cooking in the kitchen, hunting with my dad, and my new nephew, my brother and I when we were little, and adventures with my kids, experiencing life, first and last.
Hello, my name is Roxanne Bell. Jared asked me to do these pictures. And this is a picture of my father. He was in the Navy back in the 1940s. He was also in the Air Force and retired from the Air Force. And I do have a picture of him, but it's up that way. So anyway, that's my dad. This is another, these are all my favorites. This is my nephew and my niece, and they're holding my daughter. They live in Boise, Idaho, and we were visiting, and they took this picture of Renee, and that's Bub and Jenny. Okay. This is a picture of my mother. I think she was about oh, I don't know, maybe 16 or 18. She was in high school anyway, and she was born and raised in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So that's a picture of her. And back in those days, you just had black and white, and what they did was they colored these pictures to make them look like they were colored pictures. So back then, that's how you got colored pictures, was they were black and white and they would paint them. Okay, this is my favorite one of my sister and I, and this was taken in Boise, Idaho when I was visiting one year, and she was going down to Olin Mills, I think that's what it is, and I said, well, can I go with you? And it just so happened we had on the same color of blouse, and we didn't plan it that way. So anyway, love that picture. This is my sister and I and my brother when we were young, and this, gosh, I don't even know where it was taken. I'm not sure. Anyway, it's when we were a lot younger. This was back in the 50s. This is my son and his wife, Kat, and my granddaughter, Mazzie. They live in the Boston, Massachusetts area. And they were at the beach. I'm not sure where. Probably Cancun. I mean, Aruba. They go down there a lot. So, anyway, that's them. That's David, Kat, and Mazzie. Nope. David, Mazzie, Kat. Mazzie's the younger one. Oh my. This is, Jared took this picture of my daughter when she was getting ready to get married. This was her wedding dress pictures, or whatever they do now. And Jared took this picture, my favorite. I love it. I had it framed. It's done on canvas. Is that canvas? Yeah. And beautiful daughter. Beautiful heart she has too. This is Jared and I at his birthday party. I can't remember which one. It was several years ago. But anyway, this is a picture of him and I. Love it. He's always laughing. Always smiling. This is another one of my daughter at the same place down at Hefner Park at the lighthouse. And this is another one Jared took of her. Oh, this I love. We were in Boise, Idaho. That's where my family lives, so that's where we go. And my daughter's in the middle and her two cousins on either side. And this was at my nephew's graduation, high school graduation. Can you see it okay? Okay, I love it. Those girls are so cute. Now they're all grown with kids of their own. So this is my favorite picture of my daughter and I. And this was taken here in the living room where we are. Probably about 9 years ago, something like that. 10 years ago it could have been. That's Renee and myself. Okay, my niece and her husband and son were visiting us. We lived in western Oklahoma, and we had a cat. And her name is Promise. And Austin is in our bathtub, and Promise watched him take a bath. I just love that picture. Yeah, that's another one of my favorite. This is my dad. My dad played horseshoes his whole life. And he and his wife lived in Rogue River. This was in 1989. And the reason I know that is because it's labeled. And so he was at a horseshoe contest there in Rogue River. There was an event there every year called the Rooster Crow. And anyway, somebody, newspaper I think, got a picture of him playing horseshoes. He was very good, by the way. Let me see. This is me. This is my favorite picture of me because I kind of look hot. And that's about the only picture I think I ever took where I thought I looked good. This was on a cruise in 1989. Again, I have the date. So I love this picture of me. I love what I was wearing and just the whole thing. Good times. Okay. This is my niece's daughter. Her name is Emily. And I took a picture of her at my sister's house. And there was a cutout there in the wall. And Emily was standing in there. And so we took that picture. This is my grandson and my granddaughter, and I was babysitting them, and I got Sister a bottle, and I asked Kendall if he wanted to feed her, and he did. And so I put her in his arms, showed him how to hold the bottle, and he leaned over and kissed her. Oh, I was so lucky to get that shot. Usually I don't do that, but that was the day I got that shot. I love it. Okay, here's another one of Jared and myself at the same birthday party, but they had a crazy whatever booth where you could put all that stuff on. And my favorite color is pink, so of course I have a pink wig on. Okay, and one more picture. And this is a picture of my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. And this was my grandmother's. So anyway, and that is it. Thank you, Jared.
I have an assignment for you. For you, and you. Pause this video. No, not yet. But go find a photo that means something to you. I know. You don't have it printed, do you? Okay, pull it up on your phone. I want you to share it in the comments. Tell me the story of this photo, why it's important to you. And then come back to me, and I'm going to continue sharing with you some stories of photos that are important to me and people in my life. Some of these stories will make you laugh. Some will make you cry. Some will remind you of a time in your life. My hope is by the end of this program, you can print that photo you left in the comments, frame it, and place it on your wall. Now go find your photo, leave a comment. Come on, do it now. Pause it. Okay, come back.
Hello, I'm Susan, and I am going to share with you some photos that are special to me. I'm only supposed to have a handful, but when you've been around for 60 years, it's hard to get a handful of memories in just a few minutes. So I am going to do what I can to get that handful in here. I've always taken photographs even when I was younger, and I've always enjoyed looking through photograph albums of members of my family, and I was fortunate enough to have a lot of grandparents. And so I'm going to start with one picture that's not a photograph, but my grandma drew a picture of my great-grandma. And of course, before photographs, that's how they did pictures, is draw it. And this is my great-grandma music. And I was fortunate enough to be acquainted with her. And that is special to me because not very many people get to know their great-grandparents. And the grandma that drew that picture is in this picture with my grandpa. We spent a lot of time with these grandparents, and mostly in the summer we got to spend weeks through the summer and on weekends during the school time, and they are treasures. And the photographs help bring back the memories of playing in the garden and swimming in their pool and waffles for breakfast in the morning. This set of grandparents, I didn't get to spend as much time with, but they were gems in their own way. You went to their house and anything you wanted to eat was on the menu. You just had to ask for it. And it was a lot of fun getting to go there and just do whatever. And from those grandparents came my parents. This is them when they were first married, and this is them later on. I grew up in a house full of family because I have two other sisters and a brother, and we were all really close in age. And so even though you can't see it, there's probably some gray hair in here somewhere. This I couldn't find a framed photo of this particular one. But one of the reasons photos are important is like the grandparents. They're no longer around, and you can go through your photos and, like I said, touch on the memories that you had as a child and even later on. But in this book, because I couldn't find the framed photo, is my first picture that I know of with my dad. I was about 6 months old here. And just a few months ago, my dad died. And this is the last picture my sisters and I took with him. And so between here and here, there are a lot of memories, a lot of photographs, even on this page in this book of my graduation, Christmas with my other siblings, and other memories. But it's important to have photographs because you don't know when the last picture is going to be taken. And then as time went on, I had a family of my own. I have 2 sons. And this is where they first met. This was February 3rd, 1989. And these 2 guys fell in love at first sight. At least I know the little blonde-headed one did with this one. We found out later when he got older. These are my 2 little boys after they grew up a little bit and got into a little mischief in the laundry basket. This are my favorite. It was one photograph at one time and I had it blown up and split. And I've always had them hanging on the wall somewhere in my house. And it's always a good conversation piece. And I just love this picture. And those 2 mischief little boys grew up to be fine young men. This is dated a little bit, but basically this is what they look like now. I'll probably have a more current photo, but this is the one I picked up. And I think they're kind of cute, don't you? As I mentioned before, I have siblings. I actually have 4, 3, I'm the 4th one. But these are my sisters and my mom and me, and my brother, I guess he wasn't in here because he's not a girl. But I love this picture of us because we were having fun this day. It was kind of a photo shoot day for the family, and we were just cutting up and having a good time. And you can tell by all the smiles that they are candid and not just posed. And when you have a family, you usually have an extended family. And this includes my mother and father-in-law. They live pretty far away, so I don't get to see them very much, but I do enjoy being with them when I can. And my family has grown. One of my little boys, who has grown into a young man, has a family now. So we have the youngest one here and the 3 older ones, children, I'll say my grands. And this is our first time to get together, and we took a family picture on Christmas. And I love it. I couldn't wait to get this one in a frame. And something that I've always wanted is a mantle full of stockings at Christmas. Well, I didn't get the mantle, but I got a staircase full. And these are all of the stockings of all of the children, and the little children and the big children and the mamas and the daddies this past Christmas. And I just treasure this. And the newest addition to our family is this little guy. He's my very first grandson. And I just took this one the other day because I got to be with him by myself. So it's on one of these unframes, but you still can set it up and show it off. And you can believe it's going to be in the center of my photographs. This was my birthday this past year. As I said, when you have 60 years on you, it's hard to get a handful of pictures, and I guess I've probably got more than a couple of handfuls here. But this was my birthday this year, just shortly after my dad passed. And this, my mom, for the first time that I can remember on a birthday, brought me balloons. And I just kind of like this picture because I never had balloons from her before. And I think she looked really pretty in this picture too. I don't have a picture of my husband here. I don't know if you can see up here, but that's a picture of my husband. It's not on our wedding day or any particular special occasion, but we were out for a photo shoot and we just took off on a dance. At least I did. He's kind of just standing there. He's a pretty good guy to have around, and I like that picture. I think that's all of them. And don't forget to take your pictures. And I am not really good at developing my pictures, but I'm going to get better. I'm way behind, but I'm going to get caught up because it's really nice having them sitting around to look at and not have to push a button on your phone and flip through it to find the one you want.
Hi, my name's Randy, and this is a picture of my dad. I have a lot of good memories of my dad. This particular picture was taken by my oldest son. You can see an old shed in the back. He was always good at taking pictures, and Dad was always a happy person and always there for us. And this is one of my favorite pictures of him. He's just always happy. And this is kind of the picture that they did at the funeral, and this is a picture of some wheat. And that's what my dad did, was manage a co-op, and that's the career I pursued, and that's what I've done my whole life. And just have a lot of good memories of my dad. He was always such a happy guy. And this is a picture of my mom. She's the one in the middle, and her two sisters are on the sides over there. And Mom was the same way. She was always happy, and she loved family. There wasn't anything more important than her grandkids and her kids and even her siblings. She loved everyone, and she was always good to us. And this is one of my favorite pictures, just seeing them all so happy. Here's some pictures of my boys. Got the oldest and the youngest, the same way in all the pictures, and they were always so happy together. And the oldest one always took care of his little brother everywhere he went. And you can see a picture here at Christmas. We had raised Labradors, and we had a female, and it was always my oldest boy's dog. She just loved him. And this picture, their mom let them bring their puppies in for Christmas, and we had such good memories together, did so many things together, and they're always smiling, just like everyone in the family. And here's a picture of my wife. Her and I got together, and we do a lot of traveling together. We like to play games. We just do a lot of things. In this picture, you can just tell she's happy and I'm happy, and we just love each other. And one of my favorite pictures, and one of our first pictures that we took together.
My name is Luke Dunn. I'm a third grade teacher here at Scheidler Elementary School. I brought a couple pictures today that are important to me. First one I have is my family's Christmas card from this year. I got my mom, my dad, my sister, brother-in-law, and then my two favorite people in the whole entire world, my nephew and my niece. Significant, obviously, it's my family. Love my family to death. They're the reason I'm here today. So my mom, we'll start with her, is the reason I got into teaching. She taught second grade for 25-ish years. So I was always in her classroom, hanging out with her kiddos. I had the luck of I was at the elementary school that she taught at, so I got to see my mom all day, every day. I was a cool kid because, hey, my mom worked at school. Seeing her passion for kids, her love for kids, her wanting to help kids, to work at a Title I school with kids who don't have as much as others, is a reason I am at a school like Scheidler. I want to work with kids who don't have much, because I was blessed with everything I needed growing up. So I want to help those less fortunate. My dad, one of my best friends, literally wouldn't know how to adult without him. Still don't, but he definitely helps me out more than probably a grown man should. But I love him to death. He's my dude. We golf all the time, joke around all the time. My sister, we hated each other growing up, which is normal, normal brother-sister relationship. But now I can call her for anything, and I know she'll be right there. She's always got my back, one of my biggest supporters. I have my brother-in-law, who came into our lives 9 years ago now. Obviously without him, I wouldn't have Fox and AJ, so love the dude to death. He's a great father, great role model. Don't ever have to worry about my nephew and niece, going astray, because I know they've got great parentals. Fox is my dude. Funny, full of energy, always laughing, always wants to play. He wants to play the same games every day, but you know what? You love him, so we do it anyways. Play the same game 10 times in one sitting. AJ, fearless, honestly. She will break multiple bones in her life, because that girl has no fear in her life. She will jump off anything. She's the one you have to keep your eye on, for sure, all the time. And my dog. I forgot my dog's in here too, Lola. She is my best friend in the whole world, and the best cuddler in the whole world. But yeah, as a whole, we're a very close family. I'm home almost every weekend to see them, hang out with them. We'll be in Canada. We'll get to go to Canada as a family for the first time in 2 years, where my mom was from. So the significance of this is just, it's my family. They're my people. They're the reason I am who I am today, and they're the reason, obviously, I do what I do. And kind of segue, so my mom got me into loving to work with kids. This is just, I have like 10 of these on my fridge. This was one of my third or fourth summer camp. I did six summer camps while I was in Stillwater, going to school at OSU. I actually went into, this picture is actually very significant to me. Not this one specifically, but summer camp, because I originally went into college wanting to do physical ed, so be a PE teacher. But then I did my first summer camp, and I had the 6-year-olds, 5 and 6-year-olds. And I fell in love, with kind of that age. I love working with the younger kids compared to the older ones. Just kind of personal preference. There's never a dull moment. Obviously, sometimes they make one to rip your hair out, but then you're like, yo, I love this kid. This kid's my dude. This kid's my favorite. I did 6 summer camps in Stillwater. Made more relationships and more connections there than just about any other job I've ever had. with parents, with the kids, with the community of Stillwater, and I love it. I miss it. I've done 2 summers without a summer camp now, and summers don't really feel the same because I'm used to getting up at the butt crack of dawn, going to work with kids all day, and then going home and sleeping. And so now, this last summer, I worked at a Sun and Ski, which it just didn't feel the same, like I said. But teaching now, I kind of get my kids during the school year, and so now my summers are more, kind of me time. But yeah, so these 2 pictures, big influences because I'm a teacher, kids are my life, and my family made me who I am today, so I wouldn't have this picture without this picture, so yeah.
I believe during this pandemic, the biggest lesson in the time that was taken away from everyone is that we should make the most of our time. I believe that everyone relates to a last memory with someone, a first memory with someone, an adventure with your kids, a wedding day, anniversary, a birthday party, even celebrating life every day. I hope these stories encourage you to go out and live your life and take a lot of photos.
Hi, I'm Taylor, and these are a few pictures that are important to me. So this one was taken of me whenever I was in kindergarten, and actually my teacher, Mrs. Ball, gifted it to me whenever I graduated high school, which was really cool because I got to walk back through my elementary, and she handed it to me, and she has a special place in my heart for sure. And I'll probably remember her forever, but it was just such a special gift just to be able to look back at, who I was in kindergarten, what I wanted to be, and then where I am now, and how much I've grown, because I've grown a lot since kindergarten. But yeah, that one was pretty cool. This next one is my siblings, and I could probably talk for hours about why they're important to me. But also, it's just really cool because we took this picture on Christmas, and we went to church together, which we've done every single Sunday forever. And we took this picture, and it was probably the first picture we had taken, just the siblings together in a long time. And we were looking back at older pictures, after I had printed this one out. And it's just funny how much Kason has grown, and Renee, she's a senior in high school, and I'm in college, which is just crazy. But just to be able to look at my brother and sister and have them hanging up in my apartment at college and know that they're still here and I can call them anytime I want and that they've got my back, and it just puts a smile on my face whenever I'm sad. Sometimes I'll remember that Renee would tell me to get over it, and Kason would probably just make me laugh or smile some way. So it's cool to just have these to look back on. This next one is probably one of the most important pictures to me. It's my Ema and my Pawpaw, and I'm gonna do my best not to cry as I talk about them because they're probably 2 of the most important people in my entire life. And my Pawpaw, he passed away last January, and that was really hard because he was just such a role model for my family, and just the love that my Ema and Pawpaw had was just so amazing. They're just so funny. And my Ema, she has taught me how to cook. She has, raised me to just trust in Jesus, and she is my absolute best friend. Hands down, I know I could take a bullet for this woman. And so being able to look at them, and even though my Pawpaw's not here, just being able to look back and see their smiles, especially his smile, because there at the end he didn't wear his dentures. So he would smile without teeth, but just to see how happy they were, and then just to know that that's the love that I want to mimic and I want to have for my marriage. Okay, and segueing into that and just my Ema and Pawpaw's marriage, I think I have found a guy who is just like my Pawpaw. My Pawpaw, he took in just some of the strangest people, and he gave them second chances, and he would take them on harvest, and he would just teach them how loved they are by Jesus and by him, and that they had their place in the world too. And Tate, my fiance, he does the same thing, which is really cool. He'll talk to just about anybody, and he loves starting up conversations, and he loves loving people. And this is actually our first family photo. So we're gonna be getting married in August, but like we're gonna be able to look back on this picture and be like, wow, this is where we started. Like this is our little puppy Indy, and she's our little dog daughter. And then we'll just get to look back on Tate and I, and then hopefully like as we add more pictures, we will just get to see like where we started. So hopefully in our future pictures we'll have more dogs, and then way later down the road we'll have some kids, and we'll get to like show pictures of our travels. But we'll always be able to look back like hopefully like 50, 60 years from now and look at our first family photo and how big me and Tay are smiling. And then I'll get to hold up a picture of my Ema and Papa and show them how big they were smiling and get to talk about them. And so these are just some of the many photos that are really, really important to me. And I just love taking pictures. I'm a picture hoarder because you just never know like what's gonna happen to people. And so it's just always special to get to look back and like just remember them in your heart.
A photo tells a story. It showcases time and place. It is the only form of time travel that is possible. A photo is similar to the Mary Poppins when they jump into the chalk sidewalk drawings. I've noticed in this generation, which is in the photo world I call the selfie generation, there are missing pieces of documenting life. We see a lot of foreheads, filters, and noses, mirror selfies. Can you hear my disgust? Or even the phone in the photo. I wanted to showcase a few photos of the past compared to now. This is a photo my godson recently took at school. I taught him better than this. First of all, it's not even in focus. And do you see that phone? Why does he have a phone? All I see is the sink. Even though I know he would not have tasked someone to take a photo of him at school, this is a better photo. I took this photo of him before school. Much better. Do you see? This next example is my godson's sister and boyfriend. Where are they going? What are they doing? More phones, more mirrors. I don't understand. This is another photo of my godson's other sister and her boyfriend. I understand that we have to wear a mask, but I mean, that's more missing pieces happening. I mean, what is happening in this photo? Now, this is a photo of my godson's parents. I'm not sure who took it. Their names are Claudia and Heidel. But this is their first date. And you can tell where they are, what they're doing. And it was taken in film. And it is much more in focus than this photo, this photo, and this horrible photo. I hope you see the difference in documenting life than selfies of today and the photos of yesterday. My philosophy is, if you do not have a tripod, ask someone you can outrun to take the photo of you.
This is a picture of my mom and dad when they got married. So this is a picture of their wedding photo. They actually eloped when they got married, but they were actually married by a Methodist pastor. And this was taken 70 years ago. Their anniversary is April 12th. So the 70th year just passed. And this is probably one of the better pictures I have of my mom, even though she's real young in this picture. This is a picture of my dad. It was taken with him being actually unaware of it. Usually when you see a picture of my dad, he's very sober. He doesn't have a grin. It's just the way he is, or he was. And so when I saw this picture in a group of pictures, I knew I needed to have one. And so this is a real treasure of mine. This is my wedding picture with my husband. We were married on December 22nd, 1979, so we've been married 42 years. He will say that we've had 41 years of really happy marriage. the 1 year would be the year he refers to as the year my mom was sick and that we lost her. But overall, it's been a good time. The colors of my wedding were red, so that's why there's a lot of red in the bouquet. These are our two children. Colby on this side, he's 39, and Erin on this side, and she's 34. And they've been true joys in our family. This is a picture of our family. It's a little old, but it still shows how our family has grown. It has Colby's wife and his two children in it, along with Erin and Calvin and I. And these pictures are all special because we can look at them and remember the meaning of our family and that we always enjoy getting together.
Hi, my name is Daniel Ray. There's a couple photos that mean a lot to me. And right here it shows me and my dad when I was younger. And I'm very thankful to have my dad in my life because he always done things for me when, you know, it's what a dad's supposed to do. And he's one of the best that I could, like, in the world. Like, is the best dad anybody could ask for, really. He's done so much for us and he sacrificed so much for us. And, you know, I'm just grateful for having him in my life. Over here, I got another picture with my family. And you can obviously see all my family members and stuff. You know, I love each and every single one of them. You know, everybody has their ups and downs with the family or whatever, but, you know, I'm just glad I get to call them family. I'm so thankful for my mom. You know, she's also gonna be there for me. She's also done a lot for me. She's a mom. Like, she'll do anything and everything for her kid, and I just love her so much for that because I know she's done a lot for me. And whenever I ask her to cook, she go cook something. And but yeah, she's a very important woman in my life and a very important part of my life. And I'm thankful to call her mom. You know, we got Jared over here. Jared and I met back in elementary, and we started our friendship as he was my mentor and stuff. You know, we got along, you know, we talked, and we just talked about life. And I'm thankful to have him because, you know, he's a nice person, he's caring, and, you know, it means a lot to me because not that many people go out their way to show love and affection for, you know, the people, like when people really need it. And it's really important to have people like that, like Jared. And I'm grateful that he's come into my life. And, you know, he showed me a lot. He's taught me a lot. Yeah, he's a great person.
Hi, my name is Jessica, and I'm going to share with you a few of memorable moments in my life. This picture is with me and my family. I was in preschool at the time. My family is really special and important to me because they have just really cared for me over the years. They've instilled a lot of values in my life that I still carry with me to this day. My parents came from Malaysia when they were in college, and so they have just shown a lot of what it means to sacrifice for your family. My parents have always, really emphasized education, but they've also emphasized education outside of just school. They really value taking us to travel everywhere, being in touch with our culture and our background. And my parents always try to take us to Malaysia every other year so that we could really be in touch with where we're from and where our family's from, and to stay in touch with our family members because most of them are in Malaysia. And so they've also really instilled a lot of their faith in my life, which is really important. My relationship with Jesus is so important. And they have just shown me what it is to walk with Jesus and to walk in love and humility like he has. And that has shaped a lot of my life decisions. So that's my family. The next picture is a picture of some kids that I met when I taught English in Taiwan. It was the summer before my senior year of high school. That was the year that I felt called to be a teacher. And going to Taiwan was kind of my, let me see if this would work out, if I even like teaching. And so these kids are from a rural town in the mountains it's called New Taipei. And they just really helped me fall in love with teaching. It was really hard. It was only 2 weeks, but they just showed me that sometimes teaching isn't all glamorous, it isn't always fun, but when you're in relationships with these kids, it's just so worth it to see them grow in their learning and to be excited to learn. And so these are some of the students, and I just really loved getting to have that experience, even if it was only for 2 weeks. This next picture was when I graduated college, and so I actually chose to go to Vanderbilt because they had a really great education program. And after I had my experience in Taiwan, I decided, if I'm going to be a teacher, I want to try to get the best education I can get so that I can be the best teacher that I can be. And so my experience at Vanderbilt really helped shape me to really just, to learn a lot, but also to affirm that I wanted to teach somewhere that really needed teachers, to go to a place where, maybe not a lot of teachers want to go, but I felt called to go to those places because, kids deserve a good teacher no matter where they're from, no matter where they live, no matter what their zip code is. And again, this is with my family because they just really helped me get through those 4 years. My brother shared a lot of his experiences, and he really helped me get through my time at Vanderbilt. And then my younger brother was always just someone who would encourage me to continue to look to the Lord and to focus on him when I was struggling with academics. And my parents, of course, just, they were always praying for me, and they were always, just affirming my calling, which in the Asian culture, being a teacher isn't necessarily the most prestigious or successful job, especially when you've immigrated to the US. A lot of parents want their kids to get a better job than they did, and teaching isn't always approved by Asian parents. And so the fact that my parents really supported me to go to Vanderbilt to become a teacher was really meaningful and special for me. And then this is my first group of kids. I moved back to Oklahoma City after I graduated, and I went to Scheidler Elementary School, which is where I'm at now, and this is my 4th grade class. I am so thankful. I know a lot of people don't always have the greatest first year experience, but these kids were just really sweet, and they just really helped me that first year. I think they will always be so special to me. It was my only year teaching 4th grade, but they just were so ready to help me when I didn't know what I was doing. Like, they didn't take advantage of that, but they were like, okay, like, I kind of know how to do things, like, I'm gonna show you. And so I just think about them all the time now, of how they really helped shape my teaching experience, how they supported me that first year, and how they showed me that it is fun to teach and that so much growth can happen. And so, very special class. And then finally, this is when I got married this past year. This is Zach, my husband. We got married 2 months ago. And of course, that's a big moment. I am so thankful for him because he just also is so supportive of what I feel that God has called me to do. and he, yeah, I think sometimes with teaching, it kind of feels like, oh, like I have to do this for God. It kind of feels like an obligation, but I've just seen how God has worked through our marriage of God's saying, like, it's not all about you doing stuff for me. Sometimes I can bless you with good things. And so I would really say that Zach has been a blessing, showing that, you know, God gives good gifts and it's not always earned, but that we have a God that loves us. And this picture just reminds me of just so much joy that sometimes I feel like I have to earn, but this was freely given to me. And so, this is from 2 months ago, and it's exciting because now my kids get to share that with me. Some people think I was crazy for getting married during the school year, but it's been really fun to go through that journey with my current class, and they are just always so excited for me, and they are still waiting to meet him. So, yeah. So that's my last one.
Hi, my name's Jace Kirk, and I'm the principal here at Santa Fe South High School in Oklahoma City. And photos are a huge part of my life. If you were to walk into my office here at the high school, the walls are gray, hospital gray, and there's industrial carpet on the floor. And prior to working here at the high school, I had a job where I was outside all the time, in the sunlight, and getting to see the sun every day. Coming to work here, it was almost like a prison. There's no windows, and having to be inside all day. So I had to find something to keep me from getting really depressed. So I have plastered my walls with canvas of my students, of my family, and my students ask me, how do I get on the wall? Well, every photo that's on the wall has a story, and every story brings me joy. I'm gonna pause for that little school bell there. So I thought I would tell you about a few of the photos that are on my wall. So I'll start with this one. This is a photo from a trip that I got to go on with my son and one of his best friends. And we went to one of my favorite places, New York City. So I have this up on the wall here in my office so I can be reminded of the memories and the joy that we shared on that trip. So many funny memories. Of course, it was my son's and his friend's first time to go to New York City, so watching them see the sights and explore the big city, but also just the fun of one of them farting on a crowded subway and cracking up in what should have been a very anonymous situation and ended in tears of laughter. So that's what this photo is a memory of. This is a photo that I keep up because this is our freshman class president. If you can see there, he is on the phone. He is calling his mama to tell her that he won. He was challenged to run for office, didn't think he could do it, and he won in a landslide. His peers see him as a leader, and so this is kind of a reminder to me of why I do what I do, and a photo that also brings me great joy. Speaking of presidents, this is our current student council president, just rocking it, talking in front of it was an orientation for new students here at our high school. We kind of gave him no preparation and asked if he could welcome the crowd, and he gave the best speech. Had people excited to come to our school, had parents feeling confident about their choice of sending their student to our school. This is an oldie, but a goodie, all the way from 1998. This is when I was in high school and went to a student council camp. And this is a group of friends that, well, I walked in the door knowing none of them. And 24 years later, still talk to some of them. A huge, very impactful week on my life, a catalyst that kind of changed the way I thought about myself. And so I keep this up here as a reminder, not only of what happened for me in my life with that experience, but for the hope that I have for many of my students as well. The family, we've got my wife and two of my kids, and this is graduation night. A very, of course, pivotal moment for our son, but getting to be there, so it's our adopted son, and he's been with me since he was 3, and so getting to see him walk across that stage. And at our school we have a really cool tradition where every graduate has a rose and they get to give that rose to someone in the audience or someone that has helped them get across the stage. And that night, I was honored to receive his rose, and just a very special memory for me. I got a couple pictures of kids that from my school that have become super important in my life, and I think super important in theirs as well. Just kids that we as a team here have invested in and kind of push them maybe to try some things that they wouldn't try before, get involved in things that they might not feel they were ready for or feel like they would be good at. And just this week, this kid, for example, I will never speak in front of a crowd. This week, he led our whole school in an assembly, got on the mic, and just rocked it. So I know that sounds silly, but seeing something that looks so small, but a huge personal growth for him, he came up afterwards and said, I feel like I could do anything now. Ultimately, my last picture here that brings me joy. So during the pandemic, when everyone developed like crazy hobbies, I became a beekeeper, and this is my beekeeping assistant. This is Jack, my 6-year-old, and he loves to check on our bees, has no fear whatsoever, often tries to check on them with no protective equipment, and I have to stop him. But I keep this one right in front of me on my desk just to remind me that my little beekeeper is counting on me. So photos are a huge part of my life. Like I said, capturing those memories, every photograph tells a story. I've got, if you see this office, there are literally hundreds of photographs everywhere, and each one of them tells a story. I have photos of my grandparents, my grandfather who's a superintendent, my grandmother who's a high school English teacher, my mom who's a teacher, kind of my, I guess you could say like my family tree of education and how I got into the situation I'm in being a principal of a high school. This photos tell a story, and I need those stories with me to remind me of why I do what I do and to bring me joy every day.
A photo lives on in our memories.
Well, hello, my name is Dina Torres, and I'm going to share a couple of pictures or memories of important events or people in my life. First of all, I'm going to share this one because this is my husband, Jose. And he's been my best friend. He's been just my everything for over 30 years. And he's taught me a lot about patience. He's very patient. He is just a great person. And not only that, but together we have a family now in these 30 years. Of course, they were younger. But this memory means a lot to me because it's family time. And now that they've grown, it's hard to put it together because one is busy, one's out, one's has already has plans. But this was very, very special to me because this time we really planned it, and it was a very special occasion that my oldest daughter, she really wanted that. Instead of a big party for her 15, she just wanted a family vacation. So this is a very special memory. And another very important part of my life was my mother, because she helped us raise both of our daughters. Like, they never had to go to daycare. She was always at home. She always lived with us. So I mean, it was just a very special part, and it's a great memory because there's my mom, mine, and then my daughter. So, you know, a couple of generations there, and just my daughters, they just grew up very close to my mom, and always were very well cared for and very loved, and just very special. And this one here, I chose it because it's my roots, it's my town. And those are the mountains that I would see every morning when I walk to school. Those are the mountains that I like to go take my kids so they can see it, and we talked about them, and I just share the memories. And it's also the part of a very special place in my heart because that's our mission field right now. I mean, we grew up, my husband and I, both of us grew up there. We came from there, and now it's where we have our mission field, and we have not an orphanage, but a dining place where kids come and eat. And it's just very special that every time that we go over there, we see those mountains. We love those mountains. And another one that's very important to me is this one, which is the last one that I'm going to show. This is Leroy. Leroy is a veteran. It's a VA, Vietnam veteran. And Leroy has taught us a lot about life. Leroy, we met him at our second house when we bought our second house. My kids grew up around him, and he is an only child, and he grew up with his mom and his dad. And when both parents passed away, it was just him. And when we moved to our new location, he always followed us. So Leroy is still in our lives. Now he's 80-something years old. And he used to care for my kids. So now my kids care for him. Like when Leroy wants ice cream, my kids take him to get ice cream from Brahms. When they were little, Leroy would take them for ice cream. So it's just having Leroy in our lives, it has been something very special. He's at a point where he needs a lot of love, a lot of help, but just, I mean, every day that we are around Leroy, we just cherish family, life, health, so many things. So Leroy is a very, very special person in our lives right now. And the last one that I'm going to share, I said that one, but I think I'm going to end it up with this one, is before I was a classroom teacher, I was a paraprofessional. And in being a paraprofessional is where I truly fell in love, where I learned everything I know about the classroom. At the university, I just went for the title. But as a paraprofessional is where I learned what it means to establish relationships with children, with families, what it is to truly love to teach. It was during my paraprofessional. And not only did I graded a lot of papers, because back then it was like grading, so I graded tons and tons of paper. But at that same time, I was learning so much from the kids, from what they wrote, from what they needed, and so forth. So that's where I started having my first family. So since I wasn't ready to go full-time to school, I was just raising my family, being a paraprofessional. But it just gets, it just taught me so much that, I mean, I didn't need that title to be a good teacher, because I was a good teacher already. I just needed it to, you know, have the title of a teacher. But I learned so much just from being a paraprofessional. And now seeing my daughters both pursuing degrees in Lisa, she's a high school teacher now. And Vanessa, she's pursuing a speech pathology. So my son, John, he's also pursuing a degree in music. So just, we're a family of teachers. And that says a lot about just where you have your heart. I never told my kids, you know, be teachers or go into education, but I think it's just a legacy that you leave behind because they learn to love that. And it's not something you inherit so much, but it is a legacy. It is something that you become to value. So these are just part of my life, just memories. My family were very active in ministry, so we're always around, always in the lives of people. So every person, every picture just means so much. I could go just hours and hours trying to go through all my pictures and talking about them. But yeah, Leroy, ministry, missions, my family, my starting as a teacher, as a paraprofessional, all of that is just a little bit of my memories.
A photo connects us to the ones we love in our past.
My name is Erin, and I'm going to share some of my favorite photos with you today. So this first one is from quite a few years ago. It's a couple of my childhood friends that I don't see very often. One of them lives very far away, and I kind of expected not to see him much anymore. And I just happened to walk into an event at a church where I used to attend, and he was there, and my childhood best friend was there, and we just had a little reunion. And so I thought we needed to document this because it was a sweet time together, and we don't get that very often. This one is me and my best friend, Brittany, and I love capturing photos with her. She came into my life in a time that I didn't know that I would need her, and she came at just the right time, and she really just adds a lot to my life, and I love the time that we can spend together and documenting these memories and capturing them. She threw me an amazing 30th birthday party several years ago, and so this is a photo from that. This is my favorite photo from that party, and I look back on this day with the sweetest memories and the fondest memories, and I think this kind of captures it all with all the candles on my cake and even my little nephew there, just in awe and maybe trying to help me blow those candles out. But I love remembering this day and having the pictures that I have of that. Which leads me to my next photo of my sweet nephews, and they are pretty young. They're 9 and 6 right now. They were a little younger in this photo, and I just loved watching them grow up, and I have so many photos of them that I have taken or that others have taken, and I like having that documented and seeing the progression of their lives. And then I have another one here of them with my grandmother, and this is a few years before this other one was taken, and I just think it's so important to capture these moments because our older generation, they're not going to be around forever, and so we want to have those memories preserved with all of our loved ones. And then my final photo might be my favorite photo of all time, and it's of my grandparents on their farm. And my cousin took this photo and shared it with all of us, and it's especially special to me now because my grandfather passed away several years ago, and so just to have this in print and something that I can see every day and just remember all of the wonderful memories I have with him and with my grandmother. And this photo is taken on their farm, and that's where a lot of my best memories are as a child. And so I'm just thankful to have this photo and all of these photos and all of my many other photos to just to have those memories preserved forever.
A photo is a way of us living on in death and into the future of the ones we love.
Hi, I'm Abby Ruth Martin, and this is a photo of my younger brother, Jack. As you can see, he was a Green Beret. I snapped this photo of him in a parking lot, actually, at his Special Forces graduation. I love it because it's just so close up of his face, and you can see his eyes, which I think show what a wonderful, amazing person he was. And in 2009, Jack was killed on a mission in the Philippines. And so this photo has come to mean a lot more, as you can imagine, to me and my family. It's been used for countless things. And it's crazy because in the moment when I took it, I was just a proud sister documenting his graduation and the whole day. And it was a lot of chaos and a lot of crazy stuff going on. And it was just like this one little moment that was captured. And I feel like it really embodies him. And whenever I look at it, it's just perfect, a perfect representation of Jack. He wasn't like a big smiley type of guy. He was a little more serious with a very wry, sarcastic sense of humor. And so I feel like this expression is perfect for him, and I love this photo. I love seeing it. I've used it on so many things in remembrance of him, and it just honestly means the world to me and my family, and I'm really happy for this moment that was captured in time.
Taking photos is a way of keeping our memories alive and keeping our loved ones alive.
My name's Antonio, and I'm going to talk to you today about the importance of photos. So I'm going to start with this one, actually, just because Easter was yesterday, and I have a picture of me and my little brother, and we have a bunch of Easter eggs all around us. The next photo I'm going to talk about is also of my little brother and my dad. It was our first time we actually got to tour the Dallas Cowboy football stadium. And another one of my little brother and myself. We were at my aunt's college basketball game in Kansas. And then these are all going to be about my little brother, but here's another one. His name's Adam. And then another one of us together eating some cake. And last one of us, here we go, just being brothers. And then over here we have some more pictures, and why they're important to me is because a couple of years ago my little brother passed away from cancer, and these photos are some of the only memories I have left of him. So that is why photos are very important to me, because you don't really think about it at the time, but photos might be the only thing you have left of someone, and memories that you can look back at and kind of smile and make things a little bit better. But yeah, that's why photos are very important to me.
Printing our photos is one way of starting a conversation about our history and preserving our memories.
Hi, my name is Faisal Madni, and I am a PE teacher here at my school. And I'm going to talk to you about my photos and why they mean a lot to me. So this one right here is my family, my wife, my daughters, and that means a lot to me because it reminds me, even on my worst days, why I need a job to provide for them. No, but seriously, I have that there so that they're always with me, because even if it's an 8-hour day and the most formative hours of my day, they're still kind of with me as I walk in and out of this office. And on to that, I got pictures of my parents. So even though they live away and one of them has passed on, they still with me. And I almost feel like all these pictures over here, you know, my daughter when she was little, especially the pictures of them when they were little, it helps me remember that the kids I work with are also somebody's kid, you know. And I remember when my daughter was in first grade, or my daughter here when she was in kindergarten, when she was born, and how fast life grows. If you don't stop and smell the roses, per se, the metaphor that they say, same thing. If you don't stop and take the picture, you miss it, and you have nothing to see the growth. I mean, if you look at this one from her in kindergarten and when she was only 7 days old. I need an extra frame, but that's a different subject. But these pictures, again, even on days where I'm kind of alone at work, I look at these pictures and it makes me realize that they're kind of with me, the people that are closest in my life. And having an actual tangible picture, there's something about it that you can't explain. I mean, I have pictures on my phone, apparently 20,000 pictures. Can't carry 20,000 pictures in my wall. People say the same thing about having an actual book is better than having a digital copy. That's definitely so for pictures. Having them on frames, I think it does a lot. So that's my picture, and this is of my family.
When I started planning for this class, it started out as why photos are important, why printing your photos are important. And as I get to the end of this class, those things are still important. But I realized living your life, making memories, and spending time with the people you love, that is the most important. Documenting a life allows you to remember a life well lived.
Hi, I'm Alma, and I'm going to share photos. So, this is a photo that means so much to me. And I know most people don't like looking at butts, but they're some of my favorites. And these are 5 of my grandkids at least 10 years ago. And these are 3 that live in Oklahoma City, and these are 2 that live in Colorado that are brothers. And it's just so innocent, and it's so natural. I think that's part of why I love this picture. I don't need faces to see something about each of these kids that was special. So, this is going to be fun. This is a picture of 2 of my grandsons, and this was in 2007. He was 1 month old. This was my wedding. And he was a year and a half old. And actually today, this little one, which is so interesting to look at this photo, he got his license today and is driving. So it's really, it's nostalgic. And it's hard to believe that it's happened that quickly. But God, they were cute. It's like yesterday. That's part of what these photos mean. It's like yesterday. This is one of my most favorite pictures. And this is my husband holding the hand of this grandson right here, the one that looks like he has monkey hair. It's sticking up all over. That was the day after he was born, and he put his thumb in, and that's his little hand wrapping around his thumb. And it's pretty beautiful. It's innocent. I just love that picture. You're going to hear that a lot. I love pictures. Okay, so these are not pictures of my family, some of them. These are the 2 grandsons that you just saw the butts of. And this is them in Washington, D.C. when I went there to visit with them. And this is the little boy that's holding my husband's thumb. That's him, and he's probably about 2 years old. And my husband and myself, when I had short hair. And then this is the other little guy in that picture with the tuxedo. And he was 6 months old, and we were at the breast cancer walk, and he went with us. And I don't know, the history's hard. It's hard to sometimes swallow. And thank God I have these. So this is a picture of the boys. I love this picture. This is my sons, my son-in-laws, my grandsons, and my husband. Just part of them. This is like half of them. But this is when this little guy right here, he was just a year old. And why this is such a important picture for me is my sons had come home for my mom's funeral. And this little guy had just turned 1 year old. And they kind of made things seem okay. They made things, they made you feel like life's going to go on when you see all that young life around you. A lot of boys. So I love this picture. I got this for Mother's Day, or I think Mother's Day it was. And this is the grandsons that live in Colorado now. And I just thought it was so unique how they did this. How their mama and daddy, you can see them holding up the signs that they made, and then the little guy sitting down here, and it just, I don't know, it sits next to my sink, so I look at it every day. These are all photos that are up in my house, so it's a little bit scary. So this photo is going to be really different, which you might not be able to see so well. This is the 4 grandsons that live here in Oklahoma City with the 1 granddaughter out of 8 grandkids. And this is when she came 2 years ago, and this was this last summer, and just the growth. And we have a pool, and oh my God, they have so much fun, and these pictures just capture that. Let's see. Oh, one of my most favorite too. Because it's so colorful. I love it that they're hats, and that wasn't planned. This was just totally a fluke. They had gone downtown to something during Christmas time, and the only thing is there's 1 grandson missing. He was with me at home. But I just, look at that. Look at all the great colors. They didn't plan it. It's the moment, at the moment. God, I have to put all these back up. So this is our family here, and we're a blended family. So this is going to be a picture that was 3 years ago, actually. And yeah, it was the year before COVID, so it would have been 19 in the spring. And it's my children, Lindy's children, and some of our grandkids. And that's about half of our kids. There's that many more that live away. This has great memories. This is a picture of we always go to someplace with all of the kids in the summer, and this was at the lake. And this is with 6 of our 8 grandkids. And this happened to be that same weekend or week after my mom died. And we had this trip planned. And their life, it makes the difference. It makes us move on. It makes us know life goes on. But they all dressed up in these cute little outfits and played and had fun, and it just was a great day. It was a great day, great trip. Okay, so I'm gonna pull a different one. This is my mom and dad. Look at that great photo. So this was in 1937. So this is, thank God, way before I was born. And it's my mom and dad, and they lived up in Northwest Indiana, outside of Chicago. But I think I love the black and white. You see movies where people are dressed like that, kind of vintage. It wasn't vintage then. But I want you to watch this. This is my mom and dad. And it was probably in the 70s, 1970s. So they were a good 30 years older. And so they were in their early 50s. And I don't quite understand it, because I don't think it was a color photo. I think the photo was colored. And I don't know how you do that, but it's very interesting to me when I look at this, because it's pretty. I guess now you could say it was filtered, but then it's just pretty to me. But I love that. I love the transition. And then, let me find it, because it's gonna go right along. This was my mom and dad when they graduated from high school. These are their graduation pictures. And again, the black and white I love. The clothes I love. It's such a formal kind of time. But it's been really nice to have pictures of my mom and dad when they were young people, and then as it transitioned. We'll go to another old one. This is a picture of my mom and her family. And so this would have been probably in the middle 1930s. This is before my mom and dad were married. And that's her family that they had 6 kids, lived on a farm. It just says so much. I didn't know my grandfather. And all of these people, when I started to get to know them, were gray-headed. Now this is that same family. This is my mom's family, all her siblings and all their kids. And that's on the farm. And I was born, so I'm right here. I'm little. So this is probably 19, maybe 60, maybe. And I just I wish it was in better shape, because it's so light. I can see people and stuff, but if it was a little darker, probably it'd be better. But I'm assuming it's age and how it was taken. Family get-togethers, they're real big. This is, and I love this, I feel like it's from back in the woods. I expect to see a shotgun. This is my husband's great-grandfather. And this little guy right here was his father, who his dad would be 92 right now. So that tells you this had to be what? Maybe in 1930, in the 30s. I just find it amazing too. Look how worn out that poor woman looks. Okay. So this was a great picture that I love, because it's Easter time. My husband and I had gone to Ohio to see his son and daughter-in-law, and these are 2 of our grandboys. This is Parker, this is Asher, and it was a beautiful Sunday. I can still see it, and it was nice out, and those little boys were so cute. I remember sitting there taking that picture. Down memory lane. So these are my 4 kids. And this was when they were, God, I'm going to say like 12 and 10 and 8 and 6, something like that, right in there. They are now 50, 48, 46, 44. So that tells you how long ago, but I love that picture. It was the typical, I think it was called Olin something, or who took pictures and talked all of us into taking pictures with our kids, which I'm glad they did because I was broken. We didn't have phones that took pictures, and I was not a big photographer, so I'm glad I have those. Okay, this is my all-time favorite picture, and I don't think to anybody else it makes sense, but it captures the man that I fell in love with. There's nothing special about it. He's just, it caught him from the side, and there's just something about it that I love. Let's see what's next. So this was the night before with that man that I got married in 2007, and this is all of our kids. I think all of my children are there, and daughter-in-laws, and all of Lindy's children are there, and daughter-in-laws, and the little guy in the tuxedo, and the little one that's a month old in the tuxedo, that's them. It was a really beautiful evening. So this is, I can't tell you that I remember this. I feel like I was there, but I wasn't. This is my husband's dad, and this was before he had a stroke that made it where he really couldn't do much. He couldn't hold the kids anymore, and that was one of his grandchildren. But he has such joy in his face. This hangs, most of these hang, or are in my house someplace. They're not hidden. But he looks happy. That's my oldest grandson. And he graduated a year ago, right now. So he's 19. He lives in North Carolina. And he's really a beautiful child. He's as sweet in person as this picture. Oh, another favorite. This is from the wedding, and it was just all boys. This is all my sons, Lindy's sons, and the grandsons in 2007. And I find joy in that picture. I guess there should be a girl's picture. Okay, here's another one. Now this is with the other family. Again, pool pictures. This is with the grandboys that live in Oklahoma, and then the 2 grandboys that have kind of lived around the country and now live in Colorado. And this was years ago, and this was this last summer. And it just shows the difference in how they grew. They all sat in the same position, and well, not quite. Yeah, they did. They sat in the same position so we could look at their growth. But I think there's about a 3-year difference in this age. You'll hardly be able to see this, but this is really a really important picture to me. This is my grandson that I showed you that graduated. And 2 years ago, right before COVID, I went to see him. And he lives in North Carolina, which is gorgeous. And we were in Old Salem in North Carolina. And here we're walking around, and all of a sudden he's disappeared. I don't know where he is. And the next thing I know, I hear this noise, and he's up halfway up a tree, sitting on a limb. And it takes me back to that day. Old Salem's a beautiful place, and it just kind of fit that day. This is that same boy when he was younger, and he would skateboard. His dad made him a skateboard ramp, and he thought he was quite the thing. He wasn't very good. These are all pictures that go on my refrigerator. That's why they're not in frames. They're just in plastic. This was a fun picture. When we first moved into our house and had a pool, the 2 grandboys and granddad all spiked their hair up, and they thought they were quite something. And then this is the youngest of all the grandkids, and he's 8 now. But you could eat his cheeks. You just could eat his cheeks. They were so fluffy. These are all my favorite pictures that you're seeing now that are on my refrigerator when they were younger. This is another grandson that lives away, and this is when he was tiny. This is the one that lives here that got his license today. And I look at these every day as I open my refrigerator because they just remind me. This was the three boys we'd gone sledding when they were younger, and it was in the cold of winter, but they were so sweaty and hot, they stripped down in the car. This one, you can see his little cheeks are so red. He was so hot from sledding and being in those winter clothes, and we're on our way back and they were just happy. That's just another, that's the grandson that's here when he was little. He's now 14. Oh God, this is another one. And wait till you see this nose. This is another grandson, and he's 13 now. Look at that nose. Look at that little button nose. It's just stuck on there. These are Lindy's kids when I first met them. It's the first time I had dinner with all three of them. So this was probably 2003 or 2004. And I think I just love that picture because it reminds me. And this is that same day, just his son and daughter. And probably the real love of my life, Bazooka. I had Bazooka for 10.5 years, and he was my guy. I loved that dog, and he loved me. So his picture has to sit out all the time. This is that one token granddaughter, and she was actually in Egypt when this was actually taken, and she was in a village with her mom and dad, and I think her little cheeks are red. You can tell it's hot. It's probably dry. I can picture the wind. I can picture the sand, and her little turban hat. This sits on my sink where I look at it. And let's see. This sits above my sink too. This is those grandboys that you've seen, and this one's 16, 14, and 13. And I love the picture, even though sometimes it looks like they were had chemo. But their little heads were shaved. They wanted them shaved, and I can remember that. They were in a tree house playing, and they all just stopped. This one, how he looks at him, I think what I love about that is he's the cousin, and he would call himself a brusin, cousin and brother together. And he idolized his older cousin that was only 1.5 years older than him. But you can see it. You can just see him looking at him. And let's see what's left. This is my grandson who's 8. And this picture, he'd gone in his house. He was 3 years old. He only lives down the street from me. His mother caught him outside with his backpack, his rubber boots, and I think he had a popsicle or he's eating maybe something. And he told his mom he was going to Nano's and not coming back home. And he was walking down the street. And when I see that, I can envision that day when he did, because she called me and said, get down to the corner because there's someone headed your way. And I did, and there he came. He'd packed his backpack, he put his rubber boots on, and he was gone. So this is the last one. This sits in my kitchen too, because it kind of goes back. And it's just a picture of different family members. This is my son and daughter-in-law. They have the granddaughter. They live in Colorado. This is my son and daughter-in-law, and they're one son, but they now have 2. This is my daughter and son-in-law, and these are their kids. This is Bobby, who's 16 and just got his license. This was myself and my husband and her parents, in-laws, and this was actually their rehearsal dinner. And then this picture, that's my mom and dad. And that's my favorite picture of them, because I don't think in my whole life I ever saw my mom look that happy with my dad. She was kind of cranky with him. And that picture meant a lot to me when I found it. But that's my pictures for now. And it continues.
This is a photo of my godson, Xavier. I met Xavier shortly after he had been adopted. He was 11 years old. This photo is the day we celebrated his 12th birthday. It was hard for me to pick just one photo of Xavier, but I chose this one because it was the beginning. Prior to meeting Xavier, I had my entire life planned, and then it all changed. I knew the redirection of my life was supposed to happen, but I did not know until I met this boy, Xavier, why. I think that might be the one of the greatest blessings about being a godfather, because I believe God made our paths cross at the right time, at the right place, for us to become family. I may not have been there the day he was born, his first steps, his first words, but the one thing I know for sure is the best days of my life are the days since he came into my life. I could show you photos of basketball, soccer, adventures, and road trips, some better than others, boxing matches in the living room of his house, movie nights at my house. The memories and photos go on and on. I keep this photo in my house because it is the best part of me, him being my godson. I celebrate every day that he was born. This is a photo of me and my mom. It was taken my senior year of high school. My mom loves like no one else I've ever known. She's been in my life my entire life, and I'm blessed with memories of my mom from all periods of my life. From dancing in the kitchen, making cookies, baseball games. If I had a big event or a small event, there my mom was. I chose this photo because this time in my life and my mom's life was eventful, to say the least. I was a senior in high school, and there was so much going on behind the scenes in our family and in front of the scenes. This time in my life taught me a lot about people, good and bad. And my mom taught me that no matter what, you show up. You love people just like Jesus would. And this photo of my mom and I represents all the memories of me growing up. Who knew how much would change since this photo was taken? This photo reminds me of one thing I know for sure, which is my mom is still here, showing up just like she always has. This photo is one of the many hunting adventures I went on as a kid with my dad. I was never big on the hunting side of hunting, if that makes sense, but I did love nature, adventure, and getting to go. It has been over 25 years since we lived in Tonkawa, Oklahoma, where this photo was taken. This photo brings back memories of the deer stands my dad built, the trees we would hide out in the woods, and the dugout in the woods we would sit until the deer would come along. I remember waking up early in the morning and getting our hunting gear on and walking quietly and slowly into the field to not scare the deer off. I'll always remember a good adventure. This is a photo of my grandma. She passed away in 2013. It's hard to believe it has been almost 9 years. Today was actually her birthday. This photo was taken on a trip we were able to take when I was in high school. We went to visit my uncle in San Francisco. I had always loved adventure, but this photo reminds me of growing up and brings back some of my favorite memories. My grandma had a screened-in back porch on her house. To this day, every time it rains, I think back to that porch because it had a tin roof, a hammock, a picnic table, and grandma. It was one of my favorite places to be when it rained, or any time really. I have so many memories of us laying in that hammock, eating in that picnic table, and just being together. Even though we do not have a photo of us laying in the hammock when I was a little kid, we recreated this photo when we went on that trip together. When my grandma passed away, she was 76 years old. This photo reminds me to make the most of life. Do things that matter, with people that matter, because you never know how long you're going to get with the people you love. It's hard to believe that it's been 9 years without any new memories with my grandma. But this photo reminds me how thankful I am for all the memories we did have together.
I brought you on location so I could give you a few helpful tips. I told you we were going to time travel. Are you ready to go to the beach? So maybe not quite the beach, but it's my beach. So Oklahoma City's beach. I invited my nephew to come along so we could experience this all together. So come on. I figured we needed a few things before we went on it. I gave you those helpful tips and we went on this adventure together. So, what do you think we need?
I think we need sunscreen.
Sunscreen? Okay, do you get to bring sunscreen?
Yes, I got it right here.
Alright, cool.
And I think we also need sunglasses.
Alright, let's do it. Alright, we got the sunglasses. Ready? Stanley? Cool. Alright, let's take a photo. Alright, ready? Got it? Okay. Alright, let's add the sunscreen, okay? We haven't been to the beach in a while.
Yeah, we haven't.
Alright, there you go. Alright, I feel like I'm missing something.
What do you think we're missing?
I think we need some flip-flops if we're going to the beach, right?
Oh yeah, we need some
Alright,
flip-flops.
cool.
Got our flip-flops.
Alright.
We're ready to go.
Now I'm ready for the sun. Alright, let's do this. Ready? Okay, so now that we're at the beach, I thought I would show you the best ways to use this tripod to take your photos. So I'm going to show you first how we used to take photos together when we went on adventures and stuff, because there used to be only one option, which was setting a timer. So I'm going to show you that first, and then I'm going to show you an easier way to do it. So first we're going to take this photo, and then I'll show you how, and then we'll scoot on to the next one, okay? All right, ready? Here we go. First photo. All right, now got it set up? Ready? All right, ready? Go. Run and be the photo. All right, countdown. 3, 2, 1. All right, see? That was quick, fast. He didn't have a lot of time to get in the photo. Even though he was just right there, he hurried to be in the photo. Okay, so now I'm gonna show you the next way to do it, which is this trusty Apple Watch. So nice and handy. I can see us right now. So see, you can see us. I don't know if you can see us. I'm gonna show you. All right, see? Yeah, see? Yeah, go show them. Show them a little bit. This is my Vanna Whites. So you can see everything that's going on. Makes it super easy. I wish Apple was sponsoring this video, but they're not. They didn't write back, so. All right, so we're gonna take a photo. It's literally just gonna be, okay, let's put our sunglasses on because we're at the beach. The sun is shining. All right, and now I'm just literally gonna click 3 seconds. All right, we're already here. 3, 2, 1. We got the photo. We got the photo. All right, so makes it way easier. You're not running to be in the photo, because used to I was the one that was running in to be in the photo, and then all my kids started being the ones that were running to be in the photo, and now we're just all ready. We have it all set up, and whether we're going down the streets or at a school event, you make sure you're always in the photo with your kids. So nice and easy. Get an Apple Watch. Apple, if you're watching this, sponsor Jared wants it. Thank you. All right. It's getting kind of hot today at the beach, isn't it?
Yeah, I think you need some more sunscreen.
All right, I probably do.
Yeah.
I'm a little lighter than you. Alright, so it's getting hot out here, so I wanted to show you the difference between taking a photo in the shade versus taking a photo in the sun. So if you, like I always say, taking a photo is better than not taking a photo, but ideally you can get the best photos with your phone if you're taking it in the shade. So I'm going to take a photo real quick of us in the shade so that we can see how it's better for your skin tone, makes you a little less red, and it's kind of a softer light for photos. So okay, we're going to take one real quick. Alright, I love the sound of the waves, don't you? Oh my gosh, I love the waves. Alright, ready? 1, 2, 3, go. And we're gonna move to the sunnier part of the beach, even though it's already hot, so.
Gonna need some more sunscreen.
Gonna need more sunscreen. Alright guys, we found the sun.
Dude, you need to work on your tan.
My tan? Yeah, maybe I do. Maybe I do. Alright, so we're here to work on our tan, or my tan at least. And I just wanted to show you, it's definitely a preference thing. Like some of my friends like the sun photos, but I prefer more of the shade photos. But I just wanted you to see the difference, and these are a little more warm colors. Also, I mean, you can, if we're wearing sunglasses, but it causes a lot of squinting possibly sometimes too, so that's why I prefer the shade, but just so you see them both. So we're gonna take one for you, okay? All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. All right, so now you get to decide, and now you have 2 options, so you can kind of see what you like the best. We're going back to the beach, okay? All right. Alright guys, so we're about to do a selfie so I can show you the best angle. But since we're relaxing here by the beach, forgot our sunglasses, though it's getting kind of bright. Where's my sunscreen? Why didn't you tell me I was running out of sunscreen?
We already almost ran out of it.
Please, come on. Don't tell everyone that. Alright, so basically what I tell everyone when you're taking a selfie, which is not my favorite thing for people to do, if I'm being honest. My 2 friends, Abby and Kriya, that have been helping me with this, they're kind of selfie advocates, and I am not a selfie advocate. So, but once again, as I always say, it's better to take the photo than not take a photo at all, because as you can see, this is not my best angle, but hold the camera as high up as you can, which if you're laying down by the beach like we are, can you hear the waves? Wait for it. Yeah, love that. Don't you hear that? You like it? Yeah.
Love it.
Okay, so hold the camera up as high as you can. It's kind of an instant weight loss if you hold that camera up a little bit, and then tilt your head a little bit. All right, and then snap that photo. All right, so, and if you're standing, you can kind of adjust it accordingly how you want to do it, but take the photo. But yeah, now that you can order that tripod, and maybe you'll win one of those tripods, go with the tripod. And even if you see my friends Abby and Kriya taking a selfie, maybe tell them how to order that tripod too. All right, see you guys later. We're gonna enjoy those waves. Where's the sunglasses? Okay, so now it's all set up. It's ready for the beach sunset. You ready for this beach sunset? All right. Okay, we're gonna take a photo of it. We'll be right back. All right. All right, so your phone is going to mount right here. All right, so you want to do that? All right, I'm gonna have my nephew mount it, okay? Ready? Here we go. You ready? Here we go. All right, countdown. All right, I got the Apple Watch, remember? So you can stand right here, yeah. All right, come on in. All right, here we go, ready? 1, 2, 3. Look at that view. Look at that view. You guys hear the waves? Hear the waves? All right, one more. Ready? 1, 2, 3. All right, see that tripod? My last tip, which is also an encouragement, is your kids want photos of you. Your parents want photos of you. Your family wants photos of you. Do not let your mind play tricks on you that you are too fat, too ugly, or do not look good and miss an opportunity to document a time in your life. Your kids think you are beautiful. Your parents love you no matter what size. And frankly, no one cares if you're wearing sweatpants and a t-shirt. This time in your life matters. And if you do not believe me, think about all the memories we missed out during this pandemic. Memories that were not created, photos that were not documented. And at the end of the day, you see the love, the emotion, and remember the day, not if you had a haircut, or wearing sweatpants, or met your weight loss goals. This is a photo of my great-grandparents' hallway. All that is left are the nails where the photos once were. A few of the photos now hang on my wall that was inspired by this hallway that I walked when I was a little boy until I was a young man. I know when I started my photography career that my photos were never going to hang in a museum or art gallery. But that is why this class was not titled How to Become a Professional Photographer. One of the movies I love is the Titanic. Many people enjoyed the movie for the love story that takes place throughout the movie. My heart will go on. No, I don't sing. However, I love the adventure. At the very end of the movie, the female character dies, and the camera pans to all the photos of her living her life, doing all the things she said she would do. I hope after hearing my story, listening to other stories, seeing photos of memories, families changing, and kids growing up, you leave this class and document your life so that one day, when your son or your grandson or your great-grandson ask you about time travel, you can walk with him down the hall, reliving life time and time again. Before I let you go, I wanted to say a quick thank you to my friends Abby and Kriya for helping me recreate my great-grandparents' hallway, for helping me put this class together. Without your photo skills and video skills, I would have never been able to make this happen. To each of my family, friends, photography clients that shared your stories and photos to make this possible, I appreciate you because I know how valuable time is. Is that good?
You're welcome.
For the grand finale, I wanted to help you go out and take more photos, and several of the companies that I use contributed to give me things to share with you. So first, Impics. They're a company that I recommend to my clients to print their photos, and the photos I showcased in the stories that I told you were printed by Impics. Impics has an app that you can directly upload your photos from your phone and ship directly to your house. My choice is the eSurface prints, which I love and highly recommend. They donated 25% off coupon code for me to give to you. It is easy to sign up. You will add Impics 2022, all capital letters, at the checkout. Go check it out. Print lots of photos. Okay, next thing, my tripod, which I love. I keep it in my car. It's lightweight, it's handy. You can attach it to your phone or your camera. At the beginning of this video, I told you, pause this video, leave a comment. I would like to give a tripod away. So if you didn't do that now.
Put your name and I will do the drawing tomorrow. So do that now. Comment now. Leave your story, photo. Okay, thank you. Okay, so next thing. The next class I'll be doing will be on backing up and storing your photos, which we didn't get that into today. But until then, I wanted to share with you a company that I've used for the past 15 years called SmugMug. I've uploaded all my personal and professional photos online through SmugMug. SmugMug also has an app that you can directly upload your photos and keep them in a safe place just in case they disappear in the cloud or something happens to your phone. SmugMug gives me peace of mind knowing that if anything happens to my photos, they are safe and easy to recover from an online backup system SmugMug provides. The basic plan starts at $75 a year with unlimited full resolution storage. SmugMug has given me a link to share with you and you'll receive 30% off your membership. I will also put a clickable link in the description of this class with the MPICs and tripod I use. That way it'll be easy for you. Thank you for time traveling with me today. Next time, we'll be traveling to the beach or New York City, and of course, take a few photos while we're there.